Hello and welcome back to my tutorial series on how to export a model out of Blender and import it into Planet Coaster. The last time we left off with animating our model, I actually had to change two things really, since the last video. I had to change the name they had. It seems that I also made a mistake. I put a D instead of a B for cube, and I also took out the underscore. It has a reason that I took it out is because I've already compiled the model, and it seems that the model with an underscore didn't really want to work. So I eventually renamed it. I also renamed the image that we had, so it lines up nicely. There's one other thing I want to mention. In the next video, we're going to export our model. We're also going to do LOD, so levels of detail. You do want to take out your image. What I have in my UV editor at the moment, you eventually want to take it out. And by doing so, you have to go to edit mode. And in edit mode, the same way as we put it in, we take it out. So I'll just delete it. Don't worry, Planet Coaster will line it up nicely. It will put the texture over our cube. And we're going back to solid mode for now. The last time I left off with animating. In this episode, I want to talk a little bit about the graph editor and the dopesheet editor. These are tools that allow you to actually make your animations much fluenter, change the way that they act. So when we talk about acting, we mean the Y, the Z, and the X. You'll see in a minute when I start changing a couple of things. I also had to redo the animation. It's changed not much. As you can see, it animates perfectly. I've put the last animation part where in the last series we left off with the cube being here. And now it goes to the end nicely and our other cube tips over. So let's go into our graph editor. Let's start off with the dopesheet editor first. This is the dopesheet editor. I'm not going too much into detail. I'm going to show its very basic functions. I'll zoom in, and as you can see, we got our first bone, our second bone, and we got a lot of dots. These dots represent our keyframes. If I go select my bones, here we got our keyframes. These are also our keyframes. We can adjust the timing when we place the keyframe. So if I zoom in on here, I go back to the begin and zoom in here, I can actually change the timing of the cube moving. So for example, we'll make this a bit slower before it reaches the end. So I'll put that there. Sometimes it can be annoying to actually do this. And we're going to move it up if it will allow me. There we go. Just select this one again. Like I said, it can be really annoying at times. And it doesn't exactly want to do it. We'll move up the first bone in timing. No, actually, we'll go for the second one. It's a bit annoying when doing this. As you can see, it doesn't really want to grab onto it. Let's try and move it like that. And as you can see, I'm going to move it up to about 80. I'm going to release it by clicking on my left mouse button. I'll also activate so that you guys can see the keys. And now if I play the animation, you'll find that the cube actually takes longer to get to its last position because I've actually moved it up. I can also play the animation off, so we'll change our end value to about 85 and we'll play it off. As you can see, the last part, it slowly comes to the end. I can also do this for the center cube. I won't at the moment. I'm just going to put this back to its original place. And there we go. So now, if it'll do it, now we have actually changed the time. So as you can see, it goes back to actually speeding up. I can play it off again and I'll make Blender a bit bigger. As you can see, the cube actually moves faster. So I can change the times on when something happens in my scene. But I can also say to my cube, that's where we go to the graph editor. Don't forget to actually select your bones. So if I go to object mode, I go to armature and edit mode and select our bones. Go back up here and we only got at the moment one bone. It's actually not really want to do what I want it to do. But never mind, we'll go for the second bone. We bring our animation time back. As you can see, there's a lot of lines. I'll go over bone 2, I'll bring down the menu, and as you can see, we're more interested in the location, seeming that it's moving actually up and down. We have no rotation in here. These will be all empty, all straight lines, but our bones will be bent. As you can see, this one bends. Oh, it's a bit annoying. This one actually bends completely to the end of the animation, and this will be our Z axis, and I can change the way that it reacts. So if I were to change our Y axis, it doesn't actually do much. If I change our X axis, it will react differently than it did before. So we'll go down here, select our axis, if it will let me move it. And it might be that our cube actually acts weird. But as you can see, I can change the timing on when something happens. It's actually really annoying at the moment. So we'll stop this. We'll select our... Oh, with the dots, I can actually line it up or make it smoother. So it's really handy. I can make it really sharp, like that. Or I can make it really smooth. So if I play the animation off again, you'll see it actually moves in a curve up to the next animation. I think the next one is going to be our Z-axis. I'm not actually going to change anything about it because it works perfectly for us. It can be annoying to actually work with this at times, seeming that you have to click in a different way. I'll move it back to the more normal way that it already was. Hopefully it'll be back to around about. It still stays in the bend, so I'll select him. I'll bring him up a little bit. And I think it'll actually still stay in that bend. Oh no, it will stop, and when I play it off further, you can see because it ends at 85, it doesn't actually do anything. It shouldn't really. I don't know why this. Wait, turn this back to normal, and there we go. So we can actually manipulate the way that our object moves. So we get our X axis, we get a Y axis, and our Z. So we can make it all sharper, or we can actually make it smoother. Blender automatically will make it smooth. So you can always change this if you want. If you say want a really fast animation and snatch from the one position to the other position without going over very smoothly. I can also change it in this menu under channel. If I go to extrapolation, and I can change it to linear or constant, or make a cycle or clear cycle. I haven't experimented too much with it, but it's an easy, really good tool to actually change the way that your animation plays off. So we'll change this back. And that's really it for the graph editor and the dopesheet editor. In the next episode, we'll be getting our model ready for export. So we'll be clearing anything up like in the UV editor, making sure that there are no textures assigned to it so that we don't get any problems with importing it in Planet Coaster. We also will be doing the level of detail. So I shall say till the next episode. I hope this has been helpful for you guys, and I'll see you then.